All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Parent and Family Services Spring 2025 Tiger Talk, supporting your student. What to expect at summer new student orientation. This is a really hot topic for all of our incoming families. So if you are an incoming family, I hope that you listen in and lean in and hear some of the questions and answers that are offered here today. And also feel free to put your question in the chat. If you're listening later on YouTube, you can email us at parents@memphis.edu with your questions, and we'll make sure that we connect you with our campus partners who are here today so that they can answer your questions about everything you need to know about new student orientation and how important this onboarding experience is for you and your student. So I'll introduce myself. I am Heather Hampton, Assistant Director for Parent and Family Services, and I'll pass the mic on to our other guests.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cade Forbes, and I am the coordinator for Parent and Family Services.
Hey, everyone. My name is Kayla Hubbard, and I serve as the Assistant Director of Orientation and Recruitment.
We are so excited to have you all here. Kayla is very near and dear to our office, and she used to be the senior coordinator for Parent and Family Services. So she knows all the ins and outs about how important it is for families to stay engaged, and she's got some great information to share with us today. I do want to take a moment to introduce her or reintroduce her as Dr. Kayla Hubbard. She just defended her dissertation and passed that successfully. She's been working hard, so we're excited to call her Dr. Hubbard now. So congratulations, Kayla.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I want to go ahead and get started with you just telling us a little bit about yourself and your journey at the U of M, and just share it with parents, a little bit about you so they can get to know you.
Yeah, so again, my name is Kayla Hubbard. I am from Mississippi and I went to the University of Southern Mississippi for my undergraduate degree. And then I came here to Memphis for my master's degree. And I always told everyone that I would be in Memphis for about a year or two just to finish my degree and then I would leave. And I'm here 6 years later. And so I have definitely fallen in love with the University of Memphis. And have been involved in different things throughout the city, as well as serving in multiple positions here at the university. And so I've done a couple positions in admissions. I've served in parent and family services, and now I'm in new student orientation. I tell people all the time that new student orientation is my dream job. And so I definitely love getting to welcome students each and every summer, but then also welcome families. I think families are a huge part of why students get to this moment where they are graduating high school, they're getting celebrated, and in the summer, they're trying to figure out all the resources they need and what they need to do to start in this new environment that college is. And so I appreciate all the families that are on this call. Just know your student may not tell you that they appreciate it, but they also appreciate it. It's so good to have you as their number one supporter, especially as they're going into college. And so thank y'all for being here today.
Awesome. All righty. So getting into some more questions. So first up, we have, what is the Tiger Tracks portal? And then is it different from the My Memphis portal?
That is a really good question. So it is a separate portal. Your student had access to Tiger Track portal once they started their application. And through that portal, they were able to upload any documents, such as their transcripts. They could submit ACT scores, things like that in their portal. They can also sign up for events and new student orientation in the portal. And so the My Memphis portal is going to come really important at the time of orientation. But before orientation, the Tiger Tracks portal is very, very important. And so in that, again, you'll sign up for orientation. You'll make sure that you have all of your documents submitted and everything that you have or everything that you need, that you'll have that in the portal.
Good. I'm really glad a family member asked that question because in my mind, sometimes I get them confused or I think it's all one big portal. So it's good to know that there are two separate portals.
And I will say, I forgot to say this part, the Tiger Tracks portal is based off of your student, whatever email they set that up with. And so a lot of times students are trying to register for orientation and they're using their Memphis email or their Memphis password, which is great. We definitely want them to use that. But to have access to the Tiger Track portal, they use whatever personal email they use. So sometimes that's their school email, sometimes that might be a Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. But whatever email and password they set up for Tiger Track's portal is going to be different than My Memphis.
Okay, that's good to know too. And so our next question is, how will our family know that our student has been admitted? I know there's a process and things they have to turn in so that the decision can be made, but what's going to be that thing that notifies them or makes it
Yeah,
and confirms it?
Yeah, so you'll get an email, and so you'll be able to see that in the email. You'll click a link. The link will take you to your Tiger Tracks portal, and it's really cool. There's going to be a big congratulations and some confetti, and then it'll tell you next steps from there. And so tell your students to be sure to check their email, and even more so, be sure to check their Tiger Tracks portal, because all of the information they need will be in there, as well as those next steps. And so we are super excited for them to get admitted. But once they get admitted, we also need them to do a couple other things before they attend orientation. And so all of that information is in their portal.
Perfect. Alrighty. So speaking of the next steps, so
Mhm.
this parent says, now that my student has been admitted, what is the next action that they should take? And then following up from that, is there a deposit that must be paid to confirm the student's enrollment seat?
Yes, great question. So the first thing is to make, well, one, to celebrate because they've been admitted to the University of Memphis. They're about to be a Tiger, so we're excited about that. But then two, to again go back in the portal and make sure we're not having any missing documents. And so that's really, really important. And so just make sure they have all green check marks with that. Make sure that they have a financial aid on file. So we will need to have their FAFSA on file. Make sure they've accepted their scholarships. And so you want to make sure they have done all those things. And then after that, we want them to sign up for new student orientation. And so you can do that in the portal. You can also do that by just going to the website. I love the search bar. Y'all probably have heard about this search bar in a lot of these Tiger Talks. But if you just go to memphis.edu and then you just use the search bar, you can find anything. So just search NSO and it's going to be the first link that pops up. And so your students can register that way. When you go to register, there's steps that are outlined. And so it says step 1, register for orientation. Step 2, do the pre-NSO modules. And so there's about 7 steps. An optional step in that is also to sign up for Frost Camp. We think that really makes the student's experience. A lot of times students say that's like the cheat code to making friends before they even enter campus. And so definitely want them to get involved and engage. But yeah, so they're admitted, make sure they have everything on file with the missions that they need. It may be just like updating their residency, turning in a social security number, making sure they're accepting any scholarships or financial aid offers they have with us. And then again, signing up for new student orientation and then pass new student orientation. There's some things that they can do as well. And then Kate, I'm trying to remember the second part of your question. Um, what was it again?
Yes, it was, is there a deposit that must be paid?
Deposit. Yes,
Yes.
yes. So there is enrollment confirmation. And so all students who are going to attend the University of Memphis have to pay an enrollment confirmation. It's $100. I bet you can guess where you can pay it, hopefully by now, but you can pay it in your Tiger Tracks portal. So that portal has everything that you need. And so you'll pay it in there. Once you pay your enrollment confirmation, the student's orientation base fee is free. And so that goes to their new student orientation. And so when they sign up for orientation, they do not have to pay. If they want to add to stay overnight, which we think is really fun, they get to hang out with current students, or if they want to add a guest. So we definitely want you to come on the website. There's a frequently asked question and it says, should parents come? And we say it is very, very much so encouraged. Heather and Kate are going to have some really good programming and activities for you all. And so if it's your first child, your third child, your fifth child, we still think that you should come engage with us for a day. So if they want to add you as a guest, they'll also pay that. So the $100 just is their base fee for them just to attend the 1-day session, but they can add different things to that. But everyone has to pay the enrollment confirmation. And so the system will automatically kind of update. If you paid your enrollment confirmation, you once you get to pay for orientation, it will say like $0 until you add overnight stay for $35 or a guest for $50.
Thank you. So pay attention to those alerts and things. So and just ask your student, have those conversations and say, hey, where are we with your next steps? And let's
Mm-hmm.
take a look at your portal. Those are kind of spark some of that memory there to go ahead and take those next steps. So thank you for that, Kayla. So how should families prepare for their new students orientation date? Is there anything they need to bring or do other than the next steps that we just talked about?
Yeah.
But what should they do to prepare?
Yeah, I definitely think that, like you said, looking in the Tiger Trap portal to see if there's anything missing. But students can also update their NSO registration in the portal as well. And so if they decide they want to bring an extra guest, if y'all talk about it and you say, hey, I think you should bring X, Y, and Z, they can update that in their portal. They decide they want to spend the night, they can also update that. They want to come to Tiger's Track Kickoff, which is our night before event. They can do all of that in the portal. The only thing they can't do in the portal is change their date. So they'll have to email us at orientation@memphis.edu to change their date. I will say before the programming, I would just make sure the student is ready both academically and socially. So on the academic level, I would make sure they're ready. If they took any dual enrollment, AP, IB, anything like that, to make sure, one, that we have that information. Sometimes students, like if you come to orientation on May 22nd and you graduated May 21st, you took your AP exam, I don't know, April 29th, you're not going to have the results. And so
Right.
um, uh, it is definitely okay. We know that, but we want them to let their advisor know. They need to let
Mm.
their advisor know that, hey, I've taken AP courses, I've taken this for IB or whatever, to ensure that they are not getting put in those same classes they've already taken. So tell them to, for sure, be able to speak about whatever college credits they may have coming into the university. Also, there's a pre-advising component to orientation. And so we looked at this last year and piloted a little bit. And so some students were pre-advised. This year, we're trying to pre-advise most students, depending on their major and the academic college they are in as a freshman. And so your student might get an email, and I think it's listed as like step 3 on our website, where an advisor reaches out to them and says, hey, if you would like pre-advising, you can come email my office. We can do a Teams call, X, Y, and Z. And so to prepare for orientation, I would definitely say to get your student pre-advised. It takes the stress off of the day. And so your student is able to just be able to just engage during the program instead of kind of worrying about what their classes are going to be, who their advisor is. They still have to see their advisor at new student orientation. The day is still mandatory, but it's a really good opportunity for them to get pre-advised. And then on the same level is that the pre-NSO modules are required for students. And so Heather and Kate have made some awesome modules for you all, but for students, and I definitely think y'all should do those, but for students, it is required. And so we want to make sure that they do that. They'll get messaging and emails. They're actually probably about to get a little gift if you've already registered for orientation in the mail soon. I won't spoil it and say what it is, but there's also a QR code
Ooh.
for the pre-NSO modules on there as well. And so pre-advising and pre-NSO modules are the best things to do before you come to orientation. We want the students to know about the information within the university, learn about the resources that we have, and then once they get on campus, they're able to engage with those people, they're able to interact, and kind of have all of that stress off of them, because we're not just telling them all of everything they need to know in one moment. And so definitely tell them to get pre-advised and then also to do the modules. When it comes to what to bring, we pretty much have everything. We'll give you everything that you need. The meals are provided. It's their snack time. You could probably bring, if you want to take notes, a pen, piece of paper, take some notes, or your iPad, phone, whatever it might be, okay. A water bottle. It is hot in the summer, and so we will have water stationed, but if you want your own water bottle to fill it up, definitely bring a water bottle. We keep it on, I get cold easily, so we keep it cold in the building, but we do walk to go to lunch and go to the resource fair. And so if you would need water for that, feel free to bring that. And I guess if you're like me and if you get cold a little, maybe bring a little jacket. because
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
like,
say that too.
yeah, I'm freezing during the
It's like,
sessions, and I think sometimes people are like, "I'm fine, I'm not hot," and or yeah, I'm not cold, and I'm like, "No, I'm so cold right now," just because it's so hot outside, and we go outside, so we just want to make sure people can cool down once they come in.
Another thing I would add to that is just pay attention to the weather, because
Mm.
if there's going to be rain, then you may want to bring a poncho or an umbrella just in case, especially if you do any tours or anything, or like Kayla said, walking to another building for lunch. So just watch the weather too, and that'll kind of tell you what you need to bring as far as umbrellas or rain protection.
For sure.
And honestly, a rain jacket is never a bad thing to have just in case, or a small
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
umbrella, because
I
sometimes you
agree.
never know in Memphis. Sometimes we'll be walking back from lunch and torrential downpour, and we'll be like, what in the world? This was not anywhere,
Yeah, it's like the one
So,
Right,
time we were outside today, and it's
right.
raining.
right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Memphis weather is very unpredictable. We get all 4 seasons in one week, just to give you an
There we
idea.
go. Alrighty, so we already mentioned that obviously it is highly recommended for parent and family members to come to orientation, but if you could touch a little bit more on like what they will be doing at orientation as a parent or family member.
Yes, for sure. So there is a parent schedule and the student schedule. I will say the parent schedule and the student schedule are not that much different. You will be with your student probably like 60 to 70% of the time, probably more on the 70 end. And so we do want the students to kind of have their own experience, and then again for you to have your own experience. And so student schedule is jam packed with things. Y'all's is too. But the parent and family session is really important, I think, just because you have opportunities to network with each other. And I think that is the biggest thing. And so I've seen parents who have no idea who they are. They'll come in, they'll come to orientation. Their children don't even know each other, but they'll leave orientation with like a friend that they can text, and they're like, "Hey, did you get a campus alert? Did you do this? Or is there a tornado? Well, we know." But they like are getting this information from other parents they met at orientation. So at the very just like small level of orientation, I think you should come just to network with students or with the parents of students who are in the same cohort. Within the programming, there's a session in the morning about supporting your student and some ways that you can do that through resources that we have on campus and things that we just have found to be helpful to let parents know. So we start right off with that. And then there's a little break for you all. There is an opportunity to play bingo. You can win some cool prizes. And then from that, with the afternoon session, is really, really cool. And so you'll learn things about maybe having critical conversations with your students. There's also a family panel, and you can, again, connect and get to know each other. And so in the last couple of years, I think we've made a really, really good push to have kind of like less presentations for you all and more ways for y'all to speak to each other and engage. And sometimes I tell parents and families that, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm not coming," because like I don't want to engage with other people. But just as this is a season where your student is growing and stretching and learning to do new things, I think it's really cool when the parents are able to do that as well and kind of model that for their students and say, "Hey, you're in this small group with, these people that you have no idea who they are, but you're about to be around them for the next 4 years. And so you need to make sure that you involve yourself and that you engage, and that you get to know them." I think the same is true for the families. And so even if you do not want to come, even if you do not want to interact, I think it is super important in the relationships that you build, not only with other parents, but staff and faculty on campus while you're here is going to be so, so valuable for your students' 4 years here.
And I could say I definitely agree. We always have parents that are apprehensive and a little bit standoffish. They're like, I don't want to talk to anybody. But by the end of our session, they're laughing and talking and exchanging contact information with
Mm-hmm.
other parents. And they find somebody, oh, my student has the same major as your student.
Yeah.
Or my student's in the marching band. So is my student. And they built that friendship around that commonality. So it's really important. And we work really hard to try to make sure the sessions are engaging and interactive. We don't want to bore you, but we want you to have input and be able to ask questions too. And our current parents really look forward to our panel because have been where you are, and so they want to make sure that they're answering your questions from their perspective. It's not just a staff person telling you this and telling you that. You get to hear firsthand from families who are already here and have gone through what the place that you're going through now. So definitely encourage you to attend uh, with your student. So the next question, Kayla, I appreciate you. You've been very thorough with these answers. Our parents have a lot of questions, so I think we kind of hit it as far as what should we expect to do at new student orientation. So that I think we've kind of answered that a little bit. So will parents and family members have a chance to talk with someone about financial aid and the finance part of going to college? I think that's a big thing that's on a lot of people's minds when they come to orientation is trying to get the finances together, the funding and all of that stuff. So will they have time to do that?
Yes, yes. And I'll be a little bit more concise. Sorry. I just get to talk about orientation and I
No,
love it.
no,
So I
you're
just go
great.
on and on.
I think it's
But
great. We need to hear all of this information.
Perfect. Parents and families and students have the option to meet with financial aid one-on-one. So this is something that is, I think, really important during the orientation day. And so students will have a time that they'll have on their name tag, and they'll have a 10-minute appointment with the financial aid office. And so there will be around like 10 representatives there, and you will go speak with them, and they'll be able to basically tell you what financial aid your student has, how it's going to be applied, what scholarships, and then they won't be able to give you a exact number, but a really, really good estimated number of what your student should be able to pay in the fall. Exact numbers come out around like July. And so if you come to a July session, I will say you may be able to get more of a exact number, but still come to the earlier sessions because your student will be able, to see their advisor in person sooner. So it kind of comes with both of those. But yeah, their financial aid appointment is extremely important. And then students, basically, they just, you can't go up there without them. They can go without you, but so you'll just kind of need their permission to go to their financial aid appointment with them. But we are more than welcoming to parents and families and hope that y'all are there to kind of help them digest that information.
Awesome. Alrighty. So you kind of touched on this just for like a little second. If you could
Mhm.
expand on it, if there is a difference in choosing a May or June date versus like a later in July date.
Yeah. So before pre-advising, it really used to be that like you wouldn't get your schedule until the very end of orientation. Students are able to have full-time hours before they go or before they attend a session, but you won't be able to meet in person with your advisor. And even if you have talked to your advisor before and things change, you kind of want to figure that out earlier in the summer because later in the summer classes are going to fill up. And so we will have classes for everyone. And so it's not that your student won't get the classes they want. It's more of the fact that your student um, uh, might have to take an 8 a.m. or maybe a class at like 3 and they don't want to do that. And so the class times that they want are more available earlier on. And so definitely pre-advise them. But then if they want to change anything, it's crucial to come to that first session or the first couple sessions so that they can have that in-person conversation with their advisor. Coming to the ones later on, there's not a huge difference at all. We all have the same schedule, but we just try to tell students to come as early as possible.
That's good. Um, so you mentioned earlier one of the things that the students can expect, or one of the optional things that they could do, is Tiger Tracks kickoff. So can you touch on that? Maybe expand on that. What is Tiger Tracks kickoff, and why should their student attend that?
Yeah, Tiger Tracks Kickoff is a really fun event. We started it last year, and it's again, we talk about orientation being both academic and social. And so the day of the event, the 1 day program, is pretty heavily academic because we just want to make sure they are good to start. It's both academic and transitional. So we're making sure they have all those pieces together. There's opportunities for a little bit of social interactions, but there's not a ton of opportunities. And so we created this night before event so that students can get to know each other before the orientation session. And so I have seen the students who come to that night before event, They show up the next day, they already know the staff, they already know the orientation guys, and they just honestly feel like they're a part of our team because we already know them, we've already connected, and they kind of seamlessly go through the day, and they already know who to ask questions, where to go, things like that. And so that's the real purpose of that night before event, is to make sure they're able to have these social interactions, get to know each other with the additional time. But it's in our wellness center. Our wellness center is pretty new. And so we play different games. There's a small group portion of it. They get to know their orientation guides. And it lasts for about 2 hours. The students who choose to stay overnight for new student orientation, they automatically, go to Tiger Tracks kickoff. They check into their residence hall. They get a Tiger Tracks kickoff. We walk them back over to their residence hall, and then we continue to play games. They eat pizza. The smart people go to sleep. Maybe not the smart people, but some people go to sleep, and then some students will stay up until like 2 a.m. They're your students, so you know how they are.
Yeah, they're getting ready for the college life, I
Yeah,
guess.
they are like, yeah. They're like up playing games and just having fun in the residence hall. And so they may get a couple hours of sleep, and then they'll come over. And so we just make sure we wake everybody up for the in-person session the next day. But definitely recommend Tiger Tracks kick off. Again, if you've already signed up for orientation and you want to go and update to make sure your student is getting communications about TTK, is what we call it, and that they're just signed up, you can go back into their portal and make sure they're registered for the night before program. But super cool opportunity to interact with each other, orientation guides, and then our staff.
Awesome. So speaking of social interaction, what really is Frosh Camp? You mentioned it a little bit, but what is Frosh Camp and Camp 901, and why should a student attend either of those things?
Yeah, so Frosh Camp and Camp 901 are ran out of student leadership and involvement. And honestly, it's just a really good way, again, for the students to learn about leadership and involvement before they get on campus. And so always make a joke with family members that all the students, they come back from camp, and the camp is called Camp Nakomi. It's in Middle Tennessee. And they're like, there's just this Nakomi magic. Like, we get there and it's so much fun, X, Y, and Z. And the Nakomi magic is that they don't have really good Wi-Fi. So the students have to like talk to each other. They have to put their phone down and like actually look at somebody in the eye for the first time. And so they really end up enjoying that experience. And so they're together for 4 days and 3 nights, and they're getting to learn about University of Memphis, the culture of the school. I think there's around 40 or 45 peer leaders who help run the program, and they're some of the top students. And so it is a really, really fun time for your students. I definitely say to register your student for Camp 901. Sometimes they fill up, and there's only 2 sessions this summer. So there's one in August and then one in July. And so be sure to register your students for those. And they have pretty standard registration deadlines. And so if you don't do it by the deadline, it's probably going to be hard for your student to get to go to that camp. So talk to your student about Frosh Camp. In Camp 901, I will say that on our website, if you go to memphis.edu/NSO, I think that's like step number 6. I can't remember the numbers, but those are listed in there. And those are basically extended orientations, right? So you come to new student orientation. I love new student orientation because I run it, our office does it. But we are really trying to help with those transitional pieces and making sure your student is good to go with all of the logistics before they start in August. Frosh Camp 901 is after new student orientation, so your student needs to attend an orientation first and then go to those sessions. But they are all about getting to know the university, getting to know themselves, getting to know other students, and really just having fun, having those social interactions. So I think all of those together with Weeks of Welcome make a really good, rich experience for your student to start. Like, if your student comes to new student orientation, does all of the pre-advising, pre-online modules, goes to Frosh Camp, our Camp 901, and then Weeks of Welcome, like, I don't know if they can be stopped. Like, that is a really, really good way for them to start at the University of Memphis, and they will be able to know all the key resources they need to persist and graduate here at Memphis.
That's good. I was going to say, as many years as I've been at the university, and even before that as a student, I still live with the aching feeling of regret that I chickened out and did not go to Frosh Camp. They had Frosh Camp back when I was here, which was ancient times. But if your student is scared, if they say they don't want to go ahead and sign them up anyway. They'll be okay, and they'll come
Uh-huh.
back happy with a lot of friends made. So don't let them talk you out of it because they're scared, because I think it's a good experience. And sometimes you just have to do it afraid, as I tell my children. Um,
Heather, you're gonna
yeah.
pretend like we weren't in undergrad at the same time?
Oh, I wish. Yeah, I'm an old lady right now. Tiger for life, I guess.
Yeah.
So, if a parent or family member wants to come and check out the campus this spring, what are the options that they have? Are there any events, or can they take a tour of campus? What does that entail?
Yeah, that is a really good question. And so we offer campus visits at 9:30 and 1:30 every single Monday through Friday, unless there is a holiday. And so we would definitely tell them to come and check us out. We have different events all throughout the spring and the summer. And so we just had spring break visit days. We had spring preview day. This summer we'll have a couple summer visit days, and during a summer visit day, you can come to campus, you'll hear about admissions and scholarships, you will go on a campus tour, and then you will be able to eat lunch, and then hear from different campus partners. And so you might choose, your student might be interested in electrical engineering. And so then we're going to make sure that Kenneth Hogan and Isaiah Serbrook with the College of Engineering are talking to y'all at that moment so that you can get more insight. And so if you have a student who is a junior or lower, especially if you have a student who, is a senior and then they may have like a sibling that's a sophomore, definitely tell them to come to one of our summer visit days. And so I think it's really important to get to know the campus, get to know the people on the campus. I'm a firm believer in the people kind of make the campus. And so the students will say the same thing. Part of their experience is the connections and networking they've done on campus. And so you kind of get an insight to that if you come on our campus tours or if you visit us during an event like Summer Visit Day.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, I wanted to jump in here, Kate. I'm not able to see, but can you check to see if we have any questions or anything in the chat? I do want to remind people that if you have questions that haven't been answered, feel free to put those in the chat. I just can't see it right now. So you can.
There are no questions in the chat
Okay.
right now. So
Dr. Hubbard is very thorough in her
Because they're like,
answers.
she's talking about it all.
Very good, very good. Sorry about that, Kay. You can go ahead with the final list. Yeah.
no, you're good. So finally, we just have, do you have any last little bit of wisdom or final advice for families on this journey?
Yeah, I think I would just say that this journey is just as much yours as it is your students. And so I feel like I've learned that again from working with parents and families like I have at the University of Memphis, but then just my own family members. And so, like Heather said, I presented my dissertation and defended it yesterday. And I called my mom, and mom was like, I can finally breathe. And so you're gonna have so many moments like that with your student. I still have moments like that with my family where you want the best for them, right? And so you are going to be doing all that you can, maybe from the sideline, hopefully from the sideline, to help them succeed. But you've been with them since K-12. You're just because they're coming to college does not mean that you don't get to enjoy this experience with them or even just be a supporter. And so I definitely say that know that this is a huge milestone for your student to come to a university, to attend college, to figure out their major and find friends. And a lot of people say college is the best 4 years of your life, and so we also work here, so maybe that is true. And so they're going to have so many opportunities to grow and succeed. And I think as parents and family members, you will as well. So, come to the football games, come to Parent and Family Weekend. I love Parent and Family Weekend, Parent and Family Spring Day are so much fun. Somehow I feel like every family leaves with so much swag every single year. And so come to parent and family events. Come and visit your student on campus. And so I just have so many memories of my mom and my dad. Maybe if I had to present something with SGA, we didn't live close to campus, but somehow they made a way to come. And I still remember that now. And so just know, again, it's your students' experience, and we're really excited for them. I love working with the students on the student side. But the parents, it's kind of all about y'all too. Y'all got y'all students to this level. And so don't underestimate that. Continue to support them, continue to love on them, and know there's resources for you too. And so we know that they have anxiety about this transition. They may be stressed, which means you have anxiety and you are stressed. So be sure to take care of yourself, talk to other families that are in the same boat, and just know that you got this, we got you, and we're very, very excited for your family to become part of the Tiger family.
That's right. Amen. I can say amen to that. Definitely utilize parent and family services. That's why we exist. We exist so that we can assist families with the transition while your student is here. You can always call us or text us or email us or come visit us in the University Center if you'd rather do that. But here's the contact information for the orientation office, Kayla Hubbard. You can call them or email them if you need to make adjustments to your orientation date or anything like that. Or if you just have general questions, they'd be happy to answer those. But we do want to thank Kayla for taking the time to spend with us today, and all the families who have taken time to join the session, and those who are watching later on our YouTube channel. We hope this has been thorough and informative for you and that it's been helpful. We hope that you feel a sense of the family that we are, the team that we're forming here with you and your student, and know you're not doing this alone, but you have a whole group of us that are rooting your student on and also cheering for you too. So thank you all so much for attending. We do have a few announcements, any current families that are here, and once you're here, any of the new incoming families, you'll get a chance to do this stuff for your student through Parent and Family Services. We have our final care packages on sale now through this Sunday, April 13th, 2025. So go ahead and get those orders in so your student can receive a finals care package. We're excited about some of the contents of this semester's package. They're going to love it and have a lot of fun snacks and things to enjoy as they prepare for finals. And also, if you have a student that's graduating in this May, a few weeks, me and Kayla are all, we're going to be there walking too. So we're all going to be walking together, I guess. But we do have graduation yard signs available for purchase. If you would like to purchase those, just get in touch with our office. And we'll also have a table set up at cap and gown distribution for any of our current families. That is all we have for today. So this is our final Tiger Talk for the spring 2025 semester. So we want to thank you for attending. Stay tuned. We're going to be planning some Tiger Talks for the summer months, some live, have some families and do a virtual parent panel either in June or July. So we're looking forward to that. And then let us know if you have a topic that you would like us to focus on in a Tiger Talk. You can email us any of your ideas. We listen to our families, and we want to make sure that we're supporting you where you are. So thank you again for attending. Check our YouTube channel out. Check our website out. Contact us, and you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you on the next Tiger Talk.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Bye, all.